Hi students, and welcome to HSC Chemistry and the acidic environment videos. In this one we're going to just start having a look at some of the changes that have occurred in some of those very important atmospheric gas levels over the last 100 or 200 years. We've looked at two important oxides, both of them are non-metallic oxides and therefore acidic oxides, and how they impact when their levels rise in the atmosphere. And so the first of these we've looked at are the nitrogen oxides, or the oxides of nitrogen. In New South Wales, the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has a number of environmental research scientists that continually monitor the levels of important chemicals in our soils, in our water supplies, and also in our environment. And they help to ensure that we maintain safe levels for humans. The nitrogen dioxide levels have maintained a fairly consistent level underneath that safe range since 1990. So some considerable time we've understood the impact of oxides of nitrogen, and particularly nitrogen dioxide, and have been trying to make sure that we keep those underneath the levels that are safe for humans. Very occasionally the levels will increase, and that can cause some of those health problems we've looked at before, particularly in relation to respiratory consequences. So this means that air pollution authorities need to be constantly monitoring to make sure that these levels remain below the safe levels. So if you think about the fact that for really any chemical that's in the environment that has potential, can cause potential damage to humans, we need to make sure that those levels remain underneath the safe levels and don't rise at all, or if they do, very occasionally will rise above the safe levels, and obviously then there are consequences. So some of the things that have been done in order to try and reduce the nitrogen dioxide levels include a review of fuel production methods, and you may remember that we talked about things like catalytic converters that are specifically associated with the exhausts from fuels in motor cars. Also, the implementation of natural fuel quality standards to try and identify what sort of components there are in fuels and make sure that there's as clean a burn as we possibly can get. Tighter vehicle emission standards, and that's really where a lot of our converters have come in and specifically addressed those. The development of diesel, National Environmental Protection Monitoring, to improve performance of the diesel vehicles. So even though we've shifted from petrol to diesel engines for some of our cars, they also have certain requirements on them. The agency will also develop and promote alternative fuels, and we've talked specifically about things like ethanol additives in order to promote alternative fuels. But of course, we also have our Tesla cars, which are starting to become a little bit more common, a little bit more popular, the electric vehicles. And there's also a few different hybrids on the market now, and they're also increasing. Pollution forecasting systems are designed to try and identify any rising levels before they reach us, and of course increased community awareness through public awareness raising, advertising campaigns, and those sorts of things, billboards and stuff. In terms of targets, the whole point is less than 0.12 parts per million over a 1 hour period, and less than 0.03 parts per million averaged over a 1 year period. So these values are very, very low and designed to ensure the safety of humans. So in order for them to maintain ambient air quality, and it's the NEPM that is responsible for these levels and monitoring. The same thing has to happen with the sulfur dioxide levels, and obviously most of what you're going to be looking at is similar, same sort of thing in terms of fuel production, and also particularly for things like power generation and consequences on things like ore refining are also important. Now, a lot of the targeting around this, and we can sort of get very, very close to some of the issues around carbon monitoring and what happens to environmental levels and the consequences on our global climate systems. But as far as we're concerned, we need to be aware of the fact that there is certainly some scientific evidence to suggest that sulfur dioxide levels do change in the atmosphere, that there are a number of different factors that can affect this, and so we just need to make sure that we're aware of some of the consequences of this. In terms of sulfur oxide targets, same sort of thing, same sort of organisation responsible for monitoring these. A 0.2 parts per million average over a 1 hour period, 0.08 over a 24-hour period, and 0.02. So you can see we can have very short-term larger or higher levels, but we can't maintain those levels for a long period of time because otherwise they have cumulative effects and obviously deleterious effects on humans. So these are just some of the important things that have impacted on our environment, particularly our atmosphere, in terms of the addition of these very important non-metallic oxides. Thanks for watching.